the TTC, they've recently partnered up with the cops, and they've now hired 56. I don't know if they're armed. Hopefully they are, but they've now hired 56 police officers, basically to walk the TTC, like walk
Are you
the
serious?
platforms. Well, you got to remember what actually happened, and
Are
this
you?
is
That's the
I'm
thing.
dead
No,
serious,
no, no,
man.
no, 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 no. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm dead serious.
You're messing with me right now, right?
No, this is the thing,
This is.
bro.
Are you serious?
Listen, a woman got
This
pushed.
is this.
Listen,
Yo,
man, a woman got pushed on the tracks. We know that.
right.
A man got stabbed in the neck at St. George Station.
Mm-hmm.
This is all recently.
Mm-hmm.
Another person got strangled until they passed out. Then this was on the actual train. And then when they left the train, they were then robbed.
Don't forget about Poo Poo Poppy.
The point that I'm trying to make here is, and the point that TTC is trying to make is, look, the TTC is generally safe. Millions of riders every single day. Something's bound to happen. But when you law of averages, we're still safe. But obviously, that's a bit much. Someone's getting stabbed in the neck.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of stuff. But I'm listen. I've said it before. I'm gonna keep saying, man. Some very important people watch our podcast. This is not the first time that we've sat on this podcast, and this is not the first time that I'm sitting here saying this on this podcast, that we have said something and then it has come to be a few weeks later. And that's involving a lot of things doing with Toronto and like policies and changes in regulations and stuff like that.
Police walking the platforms on the trains. How are we feeling about this? Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Obviously, it could be a good thing, but what if they're armed? Should they be armed? Right? Should they be armed?
100% yes. 100% yes, they should be armed because police officers are armed outside of the subway system. So why should they not be armed? Because they're working the subway system now? No. Criminals still go use the subway too. So I want them to be armed if they're going to be walking. The police officers in the subway are going to have to follow the same laws. They say the same oath as every other officer. So I don't assume that just because they're in the subway, they're going to feel more trigger finger happy. I want them to have the guns. It's more of a deterrent for people, knowing that there's people on the platforms with these. The only thing that I have a problem with that is, let's see how quick the response is should something happen on the actual train, because obviously they have to go and they have to get off the train at some point, which is going to be at a subway station, right? But what happens when something happens on the train and that person just poof, bolts as soon as that train hits that platform? Is there going to be something put in place to where the cops are notified something's happening on the train? Is there going to be something put in place for that? That's the next step. I like where they're going with it, but remember, majority of the stuff that happens when that train is moving and it's on the rail, the track or whatever. So,
well, me personally, I'm just a little more concerned with shooting. That's why I was asking if they're armed, because we already know that cops suck at aiming. They can't shoot. So when you're in a confined space like a subway train, which, by the way, can be pretty packed, yeah, a lot of opportunity to hit people that don't deserve to be hit. That's all I'm saying.
right, but
Right?
but like
So,
I said, these are the same police officers. Yes, I get it, right? Police officers are trained in situations where there's people like that, not to let your firearm go. You're not supposed to, if there's a higher chance of civilian fatality over you actually apprehending, you're not supposed. So they're trained for that. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say no. All I said was they're trained, because I know what you're about to say. I said that's what they're trained for.
Oh, okay, because they don't do.
What I'm saying is that's what they're trained. That's how they're trained.
I know.
So
I just can't help but think. I can't remember her name, and forgive me. But do you remember the lady that we were talking about, where she was in her boyfriend's home and the police were shooting like through the door, like just blindly, even like bystanders got hit, their neighbors. So like, why
you don't mean Breonna Taylor?
Breonna Taylor? Why would they do that? They can't even aim because they're shooting through a door. Why would they do that? So this is what I'm saying.
Which you're forgetting her name, which is not a bad thing. I'm not downing you for that, but it reflects a lot of things. Once again, something we've spoken about many times on this podcast, how quickly something can be forgotten by people when it's not trending. You know what I mean? And it's not like you didn't know the situation or we didn't talk about it many times. It's just that because it wasn't in your mind fresh. It wasn't in the news that we tend to forget about certain things. When we talk about these things, especially something like this, let's not forget this moment here where it began. Let's see where it evolves to. But remember that they're just trying to make change right now. You know what I mean? So I'm not focused on who's trained, how they're trained. I'm happy that they're putting security in the subway system. I'm happy with that. Let's see where that goes.
Yeah, I'm happy about it too. Honestly, I was not too psyched to take the subway. I haven't taken it in a while for a reason. But happy to hear that. Let's just see what kind of police officers they employ to ride these
You're
trains.
making it sound like they're gonna look for all the racist ones, all the people with complaints against them, and they're gonna put them as punishment. That's where they're gonna put them in the subway system.
Why not?
I hope that's not the case.
Why
I
not?
hope it's not seen as like traffic. Like, when you see that officer,
There
doing
you go.
traffic
That's
duty,
how I'm looking
that,
at it.
you know that they've been punished, right? You know that the officer did not want to do that. Like, there's a reason that they're having
And
to
now
do
they're
that right
mad.
there.
They're down
And
there.
now they're pissed. Now they're pissed. See, me personally, I would take situations like that, and I would be the guy who would buy those white gloves. I'd have the white gloves on, and with the whistle. Wasn't there a cop that went viral or something like that? He was in the street, and that's how he's kind of doing traffic. That's
Make
how
the
you
best
play
of
those.
it. Make
That's how
the
you
best
play
of
those.
it.
Thank you. That's how you play those situations, by the way. Side note. Anyways,
All right. Well, being public, what are your thoughts here? Do you feel more secure that the police are riding the subway, or is that a little bit more tense?
the police are riding the subway.
Is that a little
Great
bit?
phrasing.
That's what they're doing. They're riding the
Great
subway.
phrasing. Great phrasing. Yeah.
Because, like, I got to be honest with you. When I was taking the train, I might smoke on the subway. Not saying you should do this. I might drink. The point is, I like to make the subway an experience. I can't do that anymore.
Make yourself. It sounds like you're making yourself a little too comfortable, nigga. Like, that's
Have
what
my
it sounds.
feet up.
Yeah, it sounds like you got a whole setup in the back. Like, you got your feet, like, you know how they have the seat set up where it's in the back. You have the two facing, and then the side here. It sounds like you sitting on these two in the back, and you have a whole setup on that
whole
side one
section
there.
to
Like, you got
myself. Are
food
you
over
crazy?
here, you got a little drink, got your cup set up over, and then to your left on the seat beside you, which could be for another person. No, that's where you have your Swisher Sweets. That's where you go keep the yak. That's where
I'm so
you got
comfortable.
a backpack full of something.
I'm
We don't
so
know what's in the
comfortable.
backpack.
I'm so comfortable. Like, my pants are off. Like,
Like,
I'm at home, and this is
you lean
why
all the way back. It's not even a reclining seat, but somehow you managed to be leaned all the way back. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about a real person that I've seen on the subway before, because that was very descriptive. You're right.
And this is why police need to ride the subway. Okay, leave it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I want to see them riding the subway during Banner. I want to see what.
Actually,
that's
you know
about.
what? That story wasn't all the way true. I'm lying. I'm not sure if it was Yak. Yeah, I'm not sure if it was Yak. It was, yeah. Damn, that would have been a better plot twist. Plot twist.